Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning to our distinguished delegates, respected teachers, and honorable guests. My name is Zalia Izati, and I am honored to serve as your MC for the final round of the Spectrum Model United Nations 2025. On behalf of Spectrum International School, I will warmly welcome each one of you. Today marks the culmination of your hard work, research, and diplomacy. Through your participation, you have truly embodied this year's theme, Global Cooperation for a Better Future. In this final round, delegates will demonstrate their ability not only to speak, but also to negotiate, collaborate, and find common ground, the essence of real world diplomacy. Before we begin, let us start our program with blessings from the Almighty. I would now like to invite Tunku Zaki Devdan Al Jawad, Year 8, who recite a few verses from the Holy Quran. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء تلقون إليهم بالمودة وقد كفروا بما جاءكم من الحق يخرجون الرسول وإياكم أن تؤمنوا بالله ربكم إن كنتم خرجتم جهادا في سبيلي وابتغاء مرضاتي تسرون إليهم بالمودة وأنا أعلم بما أخفيتم وما أعلنتم ومن يفعله منكم فقد ضل سواء السبيل إن يثقفوكم يكونوا لكم أعداء ويبسطوا إليكم أيديهم وألسنتهم بالسوء وودوا لو تكفرون لن تنفعكم أرحامكم ولا أولادكم يوم القيامة يفصل بينكم والله بما تعملون بصير قد كانت لكم أسوة حسنة في قد كانت لكم أسوة حسنة في إبراهيم والذين معه إذ قالوا لقومهم إنا براء منكم ومما تعبدون من دون الله كفرنا بكم وبدا بيننا وبينكم العداوة والبغضاء أبدا حتى تؤمنوا بالله وحده إلا قول إبراهيم لأبيه لأستغفرن لك وما أملك لك من الله من شيء ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you. Thank you, Tunku Zaki. Thank you, Tunku Zaki, for the beautiful recitation. Now, I am pleased to introduce our distinguished judging panel for today's event. Professor Dr. Ezra Mahmood, Academic Director and School Principal, Mr. Muhammad Asram Mukris, the Chairman of the Spectrum PTA, and Mr. Muhammad Raouf. We are truly honored to have all of you with us today to guide and evaluate our delegates. With that, it is my honor to invite our moderator and chair of today's proceedings, Ms. Arisa Nur Iman from Year 10B, to formally commence the final session.
Hello. The House will now come to order. Distinguished delegates, welcome to the final round of the Spectrum Model United Nations 2025. Today's session will consist of opening speeches by each delegate, a short moderated debate following each speech, a 10-minute unmoderated caucus for drafting resolutions, presentation of the resolutions, and answering questions from the judges. Finally, voting on all resolutions presented. I kindly remind all delegates to maintain the decorum befitting this chamber, to respect speaking skills, speaking limits, and to address the chair as Madam Chair. I now invite the General Secretary, Mr. Nafa, to read the rules of procedure for this final session.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Distinguished delegates, please take note of the following rules of procedure governing this session. Number 1, formal conduct. Delegates must address the chair and fellow delegates with utmost respect. Side discussions and interruptions are not permitted. Number 2, speaking rights. Delegates may speak only when recognized by the chair. Number 3, speech duration. Each opening speech shall not exceed 2 minutes. Number 4, debate session. Following each speech, the chair will open a short moderated debate, 2 to 3 minutes, for questions or counter arguments through the chair. Number 5, caucus. After all speeches and debates, a 10-minute unmoderated caucus shall allow delegates to collaborate and draft resolutions. Number 6, resolution presentation. Each resolution will be presented by one delegate, followed by questions from the judges. Number 7, voting procedure. After each resolution presentation, the chair shall call for a vote in favor, against, or abstaining. Votes will be conducted by show of placards. And lastly, number 8, decorum and integrity. Disrespectful conduct or violation of protocol may result in disqualification. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The chair thanks the General Secretary. The House will now proceed with the opening speeches. Each delegate will have 2 minutes to address their nation's stance on their assigned global issue. After each speech, the chair shall open a brief moderated debate, allowing counter-arguments or points of clarification. Delegates are reminded that all remarks must be addressed through the chair. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Bangladesh to deliver the opening speech on access to clean water and sanitation.
You can lose power, you can lose wealth, you can lose land, you cannot lose water. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the delegation of Bangladesh declares access to clean water and sanitation is a fundamental human right. Without it, development, dignity, and survival are impossible. Yet today, over 2 billion people still lack access to safe drinking water, and 3 billion lack basic sanitation. These are not statistics, they are lives. The world fears the next great crisis, yet for Bangladesh, it has already arrived. We are a low-lying delta nation. Rising sea levels, floods, and arsenic contamination threaten nearly 20 million of our citizens. Where there should be rivers, there's salt. Where there should be wells, there's poison. But Bangladesh does not stand idle. Through partnerships with the World Bank through a water supply and sanitation project and UNICEF's WASH program, millions of rural households now have access to safe drinking water. Progress is possible. However, progress without global support is not enough. Bangladesh is not asking for sympathy. We are asking for partnership. We call for two key actions. One, innovation and investment. Expand affordable rainwater harvesting and arsenic-safe filtration systems, supported by UN Water and Sanitation Fund. Two, global cooperation. Share technology, uphold commitments, and ensure no nation is left behind in achieving SDG 6. Clean water knows no borders. Bangladesh stands ready to cooperate, to innovate, and to lead. The question is, will the world stand with us? Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Bangladesh. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. Delegates wishing to take the floor may raise their placards. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Syria to deliver the opening speech on the Great Famine. You have the floor.
Good morning, fellow delegates, Mrs. Chair. The famine in Syria started in March 2011 when people of Syria were unhappy with the rule of Bashar al-Assad. A large-scale protest by pro-democracy groups across Syria started, and the Assad regime responded with lethal force that led into a civil war. The civil war lasted for 14 years, and it ended with the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024. Because of this civil war, many of the people of Syria are displaced and killed. The huge famine caused over 14.5 million Syrians face food insecurity, and 5.4 are at a risk of hunger. The economy collapsed, and Syrians had to leave the country and become refugees. The UN has given humanitarian aid and emergency assistance to Syrian refugees. They also work closely with UNCHR, United Nations Refugee Agency, UNICEF, United Nations Children Fund, and WHO, World Health Organization, and many more. Now that the civil war is over, the UN should continue to help build back Syria, restore the economy, and bring back the Syrian refugees to their country. I pray and hope that Syria will be able to be a peaceful country. Thank you for listening.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Syria. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Pakistan to deliver the opening speech on the water supply crisis. You have the floor.
Good morning to all the honorable chairs and delegates. I am the delegate of Pakistan, and the topic that I am talking about is addressing this water supply crisis. Our country has been one of the most water-stretched country, and there's two reasons why. First, the population. With having 240 million people, urban areas that has too much people ran out of water supply. And second, climate change. From droughts to floods to melting glaciers, it's it's happening all over in Pakistan. Out of those 240 million people, 30% of them have access to clean water that we are all drinking at home. But the other percentage, 70%, has no water at all, and their only water option is the dirty, unsustainable water. Our country has proposed international community, such as United Nations Environment Program, to help global campaigns and, and improve infrastructure. Water is essential to our daily life. Let's all protect it together. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Pakistan. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of South Africa to deliver the opening speech on gender equality and the women's rights. You have the floor.
Why should gender or the color of the skin decides who leads, who speaks, or who's heard? Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, the Republic of South Africa stands for this assembly today to reaffirm one truth, that equality is a right and not a prize. South Africa has a history with apartheid, a system that treated people unfairly because of their race. Delegates, after the end of apartheid in 1994, South Africa has begun a new era of justice and equality and building a strong legal framework. National Strategic Plan in 2020, second, the Equality Act in the 2000s, and third, the Employment Equity Act in 1998. However, even with the strong laws, discrimination still arises in workplaces, schools, and communities. It shows that legal action alone is not enough. What we need now is collaboration, awareness, and empowerment. Therefore, the delegate of South Africa proposes the solar system framework, supporting opportunities for leadership, action, and rights by shaping useful solutions for tolerance, empowerment, and mindfulness. And this will be similar on how the solar system works as it connects every part together in harmony. Now, this will have three key pillars. First, the Earth Program, which is a motivational program aimed at helping people who have faced discrimination. Second, the understand the effects of racial and gender discrimination. And third, the SUN program. And this SUN program will cover leadership and mentorship towards women to ensure that they become future leaders. Honorable delegates, South Africa's past was felt to struggle, from unequal pay to limited education to gender-based violence. All of this shows that women still face barriers which denies opportunities. With that being said, the delegate of South Africa urges all member states to collaborate in our solution, because we believe when women rise, nations rise, and when equality shines, humanity thrives. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of South Africa. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. Which one do I think? The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Malaysia. You may proceed. Maximum of 2 minutes. 1 minute. Okay, so basically, why is your solution name a solar system?
Okay, wait, okay.
Distinguished delegate of South Africa.
Civilians and humanitarian workers remain serious violation of global norms. Spain emphasizes that peace and security can only be achieved through multilateral cooperation, adherence to the United Nations Charter, and respect for the sovereignty of all member states. Spain recalls the Global Sumut Flotilla, a 2025 international civilian maritime initiative departing from Barcelona, Tunis, and other ports involving from over 40 vessels and over 44 nations. This mission highlights the necessity of safeguarding humanitarian aid and the protection of medical and relief personnel in conflict-ridden zones. The Kingdom of Spain supports the full implementation of Resolution 2286, which condemns attacks on medical and humanitarian personnel, and Resolution 1325, which promotes the inclusion of women in peace processes. Spain calls upon all member states to strengthen international legal mechanisms to ensure accountability for violations of these resolutions. This includes enhanced funding and coordination for peacekeeping missions, preventive diplomacy, and monitoring mechanisms under United Nations oversight. The Kingdom of Spain remains committed to upholding international law, protecting civilians in armed conflict, and conflict resolution. That will be all from the delegate of Spain. Thank you.
The chair, the chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Spain. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Bangladesh. You may proceed. Maximum of 2 minutes. 1 minute.
Honorable Madam Chair, distinguished delegates, Spain calls itself a champion of peace, yet its defense budget now exceeds 200 billion euros, with billions directed to NATO operations. How can diplomacy coexist with militarization? Every euro spent on arms is a euro denied to housing, education, and humanitarian aid. Spain claims to defend stability, yet abroad, while inequality rises at home. Bangladesh believes true peace is built through morality, not missiles, through dialogue, not deterrence. We call Spain and NATO to lead with humanity, not hardware. Thank you.
Distinguished delegate of Spain, you may respond.
As what Bangladesh has said about internal conflicts, most of it is not true. The, the Kingdom of Spain does focus on itself and also other countries. It doesn't focus on missiles, it focuses on defensive structure in, in our country, as in the Kingdom of Spain as well. It does not have any nuclear or veto power in all of the United Nations and UNICEF. And, and also Bangladesh also said that what was it? Internal power about fighting inside our country. That is mostly not true. What was it? We both support both protection of humanity and also our country. And the budget of 200 million euros is not exactly true because the budget is 198 million, not 200 million. That will be, and that is all from what I can say from my resolution. Yeah, that's it.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Egypt to deliver the opening speech on access to clean water and marine life protection. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates. The Arab Republic of Egypt is honored to address this council. The Arab Republic of Egypt is honored to address this council on one of humanity's most urgent issues, ensuring access to clean water and sanitation. Today, more than 2 billion people live without safe drinking water, and over 3.5 billion live without basic sanitation. Without clean water, uh, there can be no health, development, or peace. For Egypt, nearly 97% of our fresh water comes from the Nile River, a resource that faces growing pressure from climate change, pollution, and population growth. The Nile unites us, but it also reminds us of how fragile water security can be. Despite challenges, Egypt continues to act. Our National Water Resource Plan from 2017 to 2030, we are investing in desalination plants, wastewater treatment, and modern irrigation. New renewable powered projects already improving water access across rural areas. Yet, no country can solve this crisis alone. Egypt calls on the international community to focus on three priorities. First, global financial and technical support for developing nations. Second, cooperation on shared water resources so rivers become bridges of peace, not conflict. Third, education and awareness empower youth and communities to conserve this vital resource. In closing, Egypt reaffirms its dedication to Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation for all by 2030. Water is not a privilege, it is a right, the foundation of peace and prosperity. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Egypt. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Spain. You may proceed up to 1 minute.
Honorable Madam Chair, since since the delegate of Egypt has said about education and power, how is education related to water safety and health?
Distinguished delegate, you may respond.
For this question. Even though this is not related, students are trained so they do not waste water and also help in this process to help reduce water waste and ensure everyone in Egypt has access to clean water and sanitation.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Germany to deliver the opening speech on social inclusion and refugee integration. You have the floor. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As the delegate of Germany, I would like to address the pressing issue of refugee crisis and migration. To do so, I will highlight Germany's strengths, the challenges we face, and the solutions we propose. Refugee integration is not just a national concern, it is a global responsibility. It fosters peace and understanding between cultures and reflects our shared commitment to human rights. It strengthens international unity and resilience. Germany brings multiple key strengths to this issue: an advanced healthcare system, world-class engineering, leadership in international diplomacy. We contribute to global standards, and we have expertise in emerging fields such as artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. However, refugee integration comes with real challenges. Some communities struggle to provide housing, employment, and education, and many refugees do not feel fully welcomed or included. Existing laws and programs are not always implemented effectively. Germany proposes several solutions. First, we must empower local communities to lead refugee supports. They know the refugees' needs best. Second, we must shift the narrative. Refugees are not a burden on our shoulders. They're what's helping us build the future. Third, we aim to collaborate with nations that have visionary approaches, especially those with proven success, to exchange ideas and seek guidance. With international cooperation, we can build inclusive and resilient communities because inclusion is not a favor. It is a foundation for peace. Thank you. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Germany. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of South Africa. You may proceed maximum of 1 minute.
Thank you for the recognition, Madam Chair. Now, the delegate of South Africa would like to ask a question. Now, Germany have accepted over 1 million refugees. What steps are ensuring that they are fully socially included? They're socially included, but how do you also make sure that they are also legally included, like in the legal aspect of citizenship and passportship and whatnot?
Distinguished delegate Germany, you may. So, as the delegate of South Africa has mentioned, we do have refugees that are not legally, how do I say this? Legally included from the community. So this is why we're looking at this as an issue. I never said that we're good at refugee integration. We're actually bad at it, which is why I'm standing here talking about it as an issue, asking for help from other nations. This is supposed to answer the question of South Africa's, the delegate of South Africa. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of the United Kingdom to deliver the opening speech on global economic recovery and international cooperation. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegate, the delegate of the United Kingdom stands here before this assembly to address a problem overlooked for far too long. Rebuilding the global economy together or not at all. Inflation has peaked, jobs have been lost, and growth remains fragile. This crisis is not just economic, it's human. Behind every number is a family choosing between education and food. Multiply that by million, and you see the true cost of inaction. Through its international development strategy, the United Kingdom invests in over £14 billion each year in education, trade, and clean energy, supporting debt relief and infrastructure in more than 60 countries. But no nation can rebuild alone. Recovery demands cooperation. Therefore, the United Kingdom proposes three key actions. First, a global debt relief and fair finance partnership through the IMF and World Bank. Many developing nations spend more on debt than on healthcare or jobs. Reducing this burden will allow them to invest in growth and employment, easing inflation and building long-term stability. Second, expand green investment corridors that connect nations worldwide through renewable energy and sustainable industries. This will create jobs, reduce inflation and unemployment. Finally, the UK called for stronger conflict prevention. Since wars disrupt trade routes, it increases the demand while reducing the supply and drives inflation that leaves nations struggling to recover. In conclusion, the United Kingdom believes recovery is not measured in GDP, but in shared progress and peace, because the world doesn't need another speed. It needs nations brave enough to build it together. Thank you.
The chair is the distinguished delegate of the United Kingdom. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Turkey to deliver the opening speech on refugee crisis and migration. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, imagine waking up in the morning to sound of bombs instead of sounds of birds. Imagine leaving your home, your school, and your family, not because you want to, but if you want to survive, you have to. This is the story for reality of millions of refugees. It's their daily reality. We, the Republic of Turkey, have witnessed the pain more than the most of nations since the beginning of the Syrian conflict. Over 3.6 million refugees have entered our country, the largest refugee population in the world. We opened our borders, schools, and hospitals. We gave education to 800,000 children and healthcare to millions. We have spent over 40 billion US dollars, not for profit, but because helping is a moral duty. However, Turkey cannot face this problem alone. It's not a national problem. It's a global responsibility. My proposed solutions are simple. All countries must share financial support. International cooperation, strengthen UN partnerships, and coordinate global efforts. Behind every number is a life, a child who dreams, a mother who hopes, a father who fears. Refugees are not burdens. They are human beings with potential and purpose. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Turkey. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Austria to deliver the opening speech on climate change and the multicultural of Austria. You have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, Honorable Chair and distinguished delegate. The delegate of Austria is here to reaffirm the urgency of addressing climate change, a challenge that transcends borders and affects every nation no matter how advanced or eco-conscious. In previous discussions, Austria highlighted the alarming retreat of our glaciers, such as the Parsters Glacier, which alone has lost over 200 meters in a single year. This is not just an Austrian problem, it is a warning to the entire world that our planet's balance is shifting rapidly. In Austria's continue to take strong action. More than 75% of our electricity now comes from renewable energy sources such as hydropower, wind, and solar energy. We remain firmly committed to achieving climate neutrality by 2040, a decade ahead of the European Union's target. However, Austria recognizes that no country can solve this crisis alone. We call upon all member states to strengthen cooperation upon the Paris Agreement, support global research on glacier preservation, and ensure that sustainable energy and support and ensure that sustainable technology and knowledge are shared equally across nations. Together, through unity and responsibility, we can create a better future not just for ourselves but for future generations to come. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Austria. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Turkey. You may proceed a maximum of 1 minute. Why do we have to care about glaciers when there is bigger problems? Distinguished delegate of Austria, you may proceed.
Thank you, Delegate of Turkey. But melting glaciers could lead to bigger problems and issues. Eventually, natural disasters could happen, floods across Europe, or civilians losing their homes. And that's why Austria is highlighting this issue before it becomes a bigger problem.
The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Malaysia to deliver the opening speech on cybersecurity and online safety. You have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum, honorable judges and my fellow delegates. I'm very delighted to represent Malaysia for this critical issue, which is cybersecurity and online safety. Malaysia has long recognized the importance of online safety and cybersecurity since 1997. Our nation built strong foundation through MyCert and our national cybersecurity policy by securing systems and updating laws. Our nation has promoted public awareness, then digital education to the rural and the undereducated ones. Our campaigns and enforcement efforts making cybersecurity part of everyday life for the urban and the rural. Many young Malaysians face bullying and in social media and gaming platforms. False information spreads quickly online, especially during election or health crisis. Small businesses often lack basic cybersecurity practices like strong password or software updates. Malaysia proposes launching school cyberbullying awareness programs, fact-checking campaigns, SME cybersecurity toolkits, and public reporting apps like Cyber 999, where citizens can report any threats. To tackle online abuse, misinformation, weak digital hygiene, and unsafe browsing habits. One of the solutions our nation has implemented was MFA to strengthen access control by requiring multiple forms of verification. Malaysia is a developing country with many rural areas where digital education is less prevalent. The UN can provide technical training and funding for programs or campaigns to educate citizens and officials about online safety behavior. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Malaysia. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Germany. You may proceed up to the podium. So the delegate of Malaysia mentioned that they need to care about the child's privacy and the child's, not privacy, sorry, like whether they're being bullied or not. So why is a child's privacy worth less than a company's profit? Or other profits in Malaysia and Germany?
Based from
Distinguished delegate of Malaysia, you may respond.
Thank you, distinguished delegate of Germany. Based on my information is, we are supporting both. We are protecting kids and businesses. By protecting kids is by avoiding them to wrong places like social media where they should not be, and game platforms. So like the one of the solution I proposed was that we can help students by educating them during campaigns like the SME one, the one that I talked about, and also by strengthen businesses is by updating their laws and update their software updates and strengthens their privacy and implementing MFA. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of China to deliver the opening speech on world hunger and food security. You have the floor.
Honorable Chairs, esteemed delegates, the delegation of China stands before you today with a strong conviction regarding the urgent issue of hunger and malnutrition, with affecting kids worldwide. Hunger is not simply the absence of food, it is a violation of opportunity and dignity. We firmly believe that ending world hunger demands both self-resilience and robust international cooperation. Domestically, China has achieved impressive self-sufficiency and lifted over 800 million people out of poverty through innovation and agricultural practice and comprehensive rural reforms. These milestones clearly illustrate that sustainable food systems are extensive when nations prioritize investments in innovation and community development. On the global front, China is resolutely committed to sharing its resources. Through initiatives such as the South-South Cooperation and the Belt and Road Initiative, we have established agricultural centers across Africa and trained thousands of them of farming systems and collaborated with UNICEF and the World Food Programme, WFP. The reason of this cooperation is that we can deliver vital food aid to countries in crisis. Our policy is both simple but powerful. Empower nations to feed themselves. Real progress stems not from dependency but from true empowerment. Therefore, China called upon this community to strengthen international cooperation, expand school feeding programs, and champion climate-smart agriculture to reinforce our food programs. Honorable delegates, the fight against hunger is a mission we must undertake together. Let us ensure that every child, everywhere, has the food, hope, and future they deserve. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of China. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of Turkey. You may proceed, maximum of 1 minute.
What is the point of reaching Mars if we can't protect the Earth?
I'm sorry, can you?
What is the point of reaching Mars if we can't protect the Earth? Right? Oh, sorry. How can we let food rot in markets while children starve?
Distinguished delegate of China, you may respond.
Okay. China will share stockpiles and establish markets with UN partners so that families can afford food supplies for their family and children. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of France to deliver the opening speech on the ethical use of artificial intelligence in warfare.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. For centuries, humans have controlled every weapon we created. When we invented the sword, our hands held the blade. When we invented the gun, our fingers stayed on the trigger. But today, with the rise of artificial intelligence in warfare, we may be creating weapons that no longer need us at all. AI is already shaping modern defense. France uses it to protect soldiers and improve precision, but always under human commands. We recognize its benefits, fewer casualties, faster decisions, and stronger peacekeeping. But France asks a question every nation must answer. Can a machine truly understand a value of a single human life? Delegates, let's think logically. A machine cannot recognize surrender. It cannot tell us if using deadly force is the right choice. It does not understand responsibility, it only calculates. If an AI kills the wrong person, who answers for it? The commander, the programmer, or no one at all? This uncertainty is a threat to global security. France's stance is clear and non-negotiable. Weapons must never operate without meaningful human control, not because France fears innovation, but because we respect life and the rule of law. France backs its word with action. We enforce strict oversight on military AI, work within the United Nations to ensure technology never outruns accountability. But a ban alone is not enough. We must guide innovation, not chase after disaster once it happens. Therefore, France calls upon this assembly to establish an international convention on the ethical use of AI in warfare built on 5 core principles. Firstly, being human control, where no weapon should make life and death decisions on its own. Transparency, where countries should share and review the AI systems they develop. Accountability, where nations remain responsible for the AI systems they develop. And prohibition, where fully autonomous weapons must attack without human command must be banned. Delegates, the next major conflict may not begin with soldiers, but instead with servers. We're not debating machines, we're debating responsibility, control, and the value of a single human life. Because the day we allow an algorithm to take that value is the day we erase what makes us human. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of France. The floor is now open for the debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of China. You may proceed up to 1 minute.
What is your response to the people or to countries that abuse AI weapons?
So what? Oh, sorry.
Distinguished delegate of France, you may respond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And to answer the delegates of China's question, we do not ban AI weapons, not just AI weapons, but fully autonomous lethal weapons, which means they can attack and kill on their own. AI weapon solely is not the problem because we also use AI weapons, but not the ones that can kill on their own.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. Chair now invites the distinguished delegate of Canada to deliver the opening speech on global warming and climate change. Have the floor.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, I am the delegate of Canada, and today I will address one of our most urgent challenges, climate change and global warming. Canada has long been known for its vast snow-covered landscapes and harsh winters. However, this image is rapidly changing as rising global temperatures are melting our glaciers, intensifying wildfires, and causing more frequent floods. These disasters threaten people's health, safety, and even their own homes. For Canada, this issue is especially important. Our national temperature is rising at nearly twice the global average, and the Arctic, which is a major part of our territory, is losing ice at a dangerous rate. This threatens our wildlife, indigenous communities, and the balance of our ecosystems. Canada believes that strong and united action is needed. We are proud members of the Paris Agreement and have pledged to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. At home, we have introduced carbon pricing and invested heavily in renewable energy such as wind, solar, and hydropower. We are also investing in indigenous-led climate projects that protect the land and preserve traditional ways of life. However, no nation can solve this crisis alone. Canada urges the United Nations to strengthen international cooperation by sharing clean technology, supporting vulnerable countries, and giving youth a real voice to take in climate decision-making. In conclusion, Canada reaffirms its commitment to a safer future through partnership, innovation, and responsibility. Together, through the United Nations, we can protect our planet and secure a better world for generations to come. Thank you for your attention.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate of Canada. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of France. You may proceed, maximum of 1 minute.
Canada.
Canada exports oil, which burn adds to global warming. How can you claim climate leadership while you are the one who's fueling the problem?
Distinguished delegate of Canada, you may respond.
I thank the delegate of France for giving me that question. So to solve the problem, we're not actually burning our oil. We actually use carbon pricing, which means people and companies pay when they pollute. Like for example, cars that use petrol, that burns the pollution in the air. So we use carbon pricing to do that. So this encourages everyone to use cleaner energy and helps us move toward net zero emissions by 2050. Thank you.
Chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair now invites the distinguished delegate of the United States to deliver the opening speech on space exploration and international cooperation. You have the floor.
Good morning. Good morning to the Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates of the United Nations. My name is Fayed Mohammed, a representative of the United States of America. Today, I will be discussing space exploration and international cooperation. Space exploration has always been a challenge for the United States of America, with high costs, failed missions, and unsustainability. From 2010 to 2020, NASA had been budgeted to spend around 200 billion US dollars. Moreover, in 2024, NASA's Boeing Starliner's return from the ISS was extremely delayed due to safety issues. Finally, collecting materials needed for preparing a spacecraft is extremely tedious, needing spacecraft materials, food, water, and other supplies. Addressing these issues require international cooperation, sharing of resources, and establishing mutual goals. The United States of America's space exploration program has been thriving in the early 1960s, with NASA gaining approximately 5% of the USA budget. But after the success of the moon landing and the launching of the ISS, the funding had dropped to around 0.5%. This had hindered progress for exploring deeper into our own galaxy. Though NASA has had some triumphs over the past few years, like launching a new powerful telescope, these advancements are only small upgrades to what we have and know, and are not too beneficial. Thus, other private space companies, like SpaceX, have taken things into their own hands and now have the goal of revolutionizing space travel, making it cheap and efficient. One of our solutions is strengthening worldwide cooperation. The United States of America calls for enhanced cooperation between different nations to provide financial aid for continuing the space exploration program. This venture can lead to new discoveries and may yield life-changing results. Another solution is partnership with private companies. The United States of America has decided that NASA will propose a partnership with the leading space exploration company, SpaceX. We hope to combine research and aid SpaceX in developing their own designs, such as a Starship, and make out of reach goals like colonizing Mars a reality. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate from the United States. The floor is now open for a brief moderated debate. The distinguished delegate of the chair recognizes the distinguished delegate of the United Kingdom. You may proceed. You have up to
The, the UK wants to ask USA a question. What is the point of reaching Mars if you cannot protect Earth?
distinguished delegate of the United States. You may respond.
Thank you to the United Kingdom for asking that question. The United States of America believes that space research develops technologies for food production, water purification, medicine, and climate monitoring. These tools directly address the Earth's humanitarian crisis. Space exploration is part of the solution, not just a distraction. Thank you.
The chair thanks the distinguished delegate. The chair thanks all the distinguished delegates for their insight.
Assalamu alaikum once again, dear delegates. Our chosen topic was climate change and global warming. We have formed an alliance of 6 containing France, Austria, Germany, UK, Canada, and Turkey. Why did we choose these topics? It's because climate change puts most countries in danger, and it's always behind most problems in each and every natural disaster. So, this alliance prevents and solves these problems, and if executed properly, it can be a symbol of unity and global cooperation. All the participating countries are contributing solutions and data. Starting off strong, we have in our alliance the delegate of France, which hosted the Paris Agreement in 2015, monitoring emissions and energy use, which keeps track so we will always be updated on the latest updates of climate change. Next, we have Canada, and their key strength is carbon pricing. People and companies, the carbon pricing idea slash solution that people and companies pay when they pollute, which encourages the use of clean energy, it reduces pollution and carbon emissions. Next, we have Turkey, which expands renewable energy to the Middle East. It introduces to the Middle East the usage of non-renewable energy. Then we have the UK. It expands slash United Kingdom. It expands green investment corridors through renewable energy and sustainable industries. And it has a strong trade links contributing to 11 to 14 billion pounds, which creates more eco-friendly jobs. It also channels funds into renewable energy and has a sustainable infrastructure. Next, we have Austria, which fund developing countries, which make them switch to renewable sources such as solar panels and anything of such. And last but not least, we have Germany. Germany is a leader of green tech. They can help provide more renewable energy sources and green tech, such as solar panels. This is why we should pay attention more to climate change, and this is why we picked it as our solution. Thank you.
Thank you, respected judges. You are welcome to ask questions from the delegates proposing the resolution. The floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. One of the You want me to go off there? Okay. Thank you for your resolutions. One of your resolutions is carbon pricing, which will put countries that have lower economy at a disadvantage because they won't be able to pay to cause more pollution, whereas richer countries will be able to pay for more pollution. And then the solutions for other energy sources are usually even more expensive. So how does that help other countries?
Thank you for your question. So the countries with a low economic, like low economy, this actually encourages them to pollute less and use less non-renewable energy, which is actually doing to our favor as it because they are not financially stable or economically stable to actually participate in this, which encourages the use of the use of renewable energy.
Any of you have any questions?
Thank you, distinguished delegate of Germany. Thank you. All those in favor of the resolution, please raise your platforms. All those in favor. All those against. Those abstaining. The votes will now be tallied and recorded. The result will be announced immediately. The resolution proposed by the distinguished delegates on climate change and global warming has been adopted. Congratulations to the delegate and all who contributed. Distinguished delegate of South Africa will be representing their draft resolution.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, this draft resolution is the product of collaboration among different nations from all backgrounds, from high GDP countries to developing countries, to solve one key mission: to ensure reliable and fair access to clean water for all communities, especially those at the most risk. So our solutions are: first, establishing a global water cooperation. So first, our solution is establishing a global water cooperation fund supported by developed nations and partners to finance clean water systems, sanitation, and drought response. No more promises is needed, and only those will be elected for the resolution. Second, we will promote sustainable water technology such as solar powered desalination, water recycling, and safe filtration. This goal is not just to use technology in the water crisis, but also using it to ensure that all members where they have water problems can be solved using technology. And third, strengthening regional water cooperation by encouraging transparent usage reports, fair water sharing agreements, and UN mediation to prevent conflicts before they start. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, this resolution is more than policy. It is partnership. Together, nations rich and poor, east and west stand as one. Because true resilience is not built alone, and it's built together. So our block encourages all delegates to vote for this resolution. Thank you.
Respected judges, you are welcome to ask questions of the delegate proposing the resolution. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, your resolution, who is going to be funding it?
Okay, yeah. So the one that are going to fund it will be PPPs and NGOs, meaning public-private partnerships and also non-government organizations, because they also have experience through in the surface area and the field where, and also we can also ask funds from UN programs such as the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program.
How will the distribution of funding be fair and equitable?
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna have a transparent monitoring system that we can implement in this system. So that will be in like a United Nations. So it will be constantly monitored and it can be shown in a live tracking to all and being public to all citizens to ensure that all funding and all transfer of money will be shown in that specific website so that transparency will be always ensured and no more corruption and whatnot.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the resolution, please raise your hands. All those against? Those abstaining? The votes will now be tallied and recorded. The results will be announced immediately.
Why would you abstain? I thought agree or you don't agree? I mean the kids. I don't mean individuals. Abstaining is making a stand.
The resolution proposed by the distinguished delegates on access to clean water has been adopted. Congratulations to the delegates and all countries. You have reached the conclusion of the final round of Spectrum Model United Nations 2025. Your speeches, arguments, and resolutions today have reflected the true essence of diplomacy: listening, negotiating, and building solutions for a better world. The judges and the Secretariat will now deliberate to determine the best delegate, outstanding delegate, and honorable mentions. On behalf of the Secretariat, the Chair extends sincere gratitude to all participants for upholding the values of peace, cooperation, and respect. This has been a model example of the power of dialogue. With that, I hereby declare the final round of the Spectrum Model United Nations 2025 officially adjourned. Congratulations, delegates. May your voice continue to be forces for peace and progress. I invite Dr. Israel to come on stage to present a token of appreciation.